The news from Brazil raises fresh questions for the White House about whether President Trump is now himself going to get tested for coronavirus. President Jair Bolsonaro of Brazil, who spent last weekend in close proximity to President Donald Trump at the Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, has himself tested positive for coronavirus. Now, we already knew that the Brazilian president's press attaché, who was also at the Mar-a-Lago resort and met President Trump, had tested positive for the virus, but the White House insisted that there had been almost no contact between the press attaché and the president, and so White House doctors were advising there was no need for President Trump to get a coronavirus test. The same cannot be said about the president's contact with President Bolsonaro. The two men could be seen shaking hands at Mar-a-Lago in front of Brazilian and American flags. They sat next to each other for a formal dinner. They held one-on-one conversations and meetings during the weekend retreat at Mar-a-Lago. And so there is now massive pressure on the White House to answer the question about whether President Trump will now go ahead and submit to a coronavirus test. We're going to hear from the president later in the day here, around 7 o'clock in the evening UK time. He's going to hold a press conference. He says the topic will be coronavirus. You can expect him to be absolutely peppered with questions about his own health, but also peppered with questions more generally about America's preparedness for the pandemic that is about to reach American shores in large numbers. The president has been assailed all week for being behind the curve on coronavirus. He failed to soothe markets with his televised address to the nation. We've seen private businesses, Disneyland, the National Hockey League, various other organizations and institutions taking the lead in cancelling their seasons, closing their doors to the public, but the president so far has not taken that lead. We'll find out if he intends to do so when he addresses the press at the White House later today.